So I could take time on the show today to merely lament the fact and complain, which I'm good at, by the way, that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, which in many ways I think you would agree it is. But I'd rather show you that it is. So I don't know if you saw the Jussie Smollett kind of set up for the sequel to his first horrible acting job in which he pretended to be attacked by white supremacists wearing MAGA hats. But if you missed that, here's the trailer to the new sequel where Smollett reprises his role yet again as a hate crime hoaxer, this time with a great twist. You're gonna love it. Now his attacker is in the same jail cell with Jussie. Here's that.
I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal. That's what I would like to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal. If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time.
Now, at first glance, anyone could see that Jussie means to attempt to harm himself in jail and accuse someone else of doing it. That seems to be the implication here, right? I am not suicidal. So he's going to try to harm himself and then he's going to blame it on somebody else. Apparently, he thinks Epstein did kill himself. But the more startling aspect of this horrible acting job is the complete delusion that Jussie seems to have fallen prey to. Now, where does it come from? Is it the elitist left showing up and showing its true colors as he actually thinks that people are stupid enough to believe him and that he's way smarter than everybody else? Or is it rather that he's surrounded himself with people that refuse to tell him the truth? Maybe that's partly his family's fault, who's ponying up right now and getting ready for their part in the sequel. And you can see that here.
I have something I want to say quickly.
Your name, ma'am?
My name is Jussie Smollett. I'm his older sister. First of all, I want to say my brother is innocent. My brother Jussie is innocent. This should not be a controversial statement because it is the absolute truth. What should be controversial is the entire miscarriage of justice this whole ordeal has been. I pray peace over my brother. I pray the peace of God over my brother and all victims of oppression and hate.
The most startling thing about all of this for me is not his family or the fact that he actually may think that people are stupid enough to believe him. I think Jussie actually believes it himself. I know that sounds ridiculous at first because Jussie was there when he didn't get, become a victim of a hate crime. And so he knows he wasn't the victim of a hate crime. But the inability to be honest, even in the face of such opposition, means that Jussie cannot bring himself to look in the mirror and admit the real problem. Is it more that he has told himself a lie long enough that he finally believes it? And he's so self-obsessed, so self-centered that he's convinced himself that somehow he is a victim. So even if he's lying right now, it's okay. Is he really the Emmett Till and some such nonsense? He's told himself that lie long enough and now he does believe it. And this is a well-documented reality of how this stuff happens. I mean, a poll taken back in 2019 say that some 70% of Russians still think Stalin was a great leader, that homicidal maniac that killed more than 30 million of his own people. But here in America, one can't help but look at the Rachel Dolezals of the world. Maybe you remember her, the girl that pretended she was black, taught black studies in university and was part of the ACLU. Remember that girl? Really, really white, but pretended she was black, did her hair and all that. And the Jussie Smolletts of the world. And we look at them and we can't help but ask, why is this happening? I mean, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, people like Jussie didn't exist. And now we're seeing more and more of this kind of delusional people who are drinking their own Kool-Aid. The answer, I think, is very simple. In the wake of losing religion that made the West what it was, and in the midst of casting out a higher authority like Holy Scripture, people have adopted a new religion, a religion of self, the cult of narcissism, if you want to call it that. It can be seen in American Idol, social media influencers, and phenomena like that, and all throughout the victimology mentality of the radical left. So what is victimology except a way to feel important, a way to make yourself a victim so that you can draw attention to yourself? And what is modern day activism except a rendition of the cutting of past generations, a blatantly stupid and harmful attempt to make yourself feel alive somehow? Why do so many people feel so dead inside? Well, it's because we're dealing with a crisis of meaning of epic proportions. Because when you leave true and fulfilling faith in spirituality and move into a make it up as you go along kind of thing, you ultimately fall prey to the cult of narcissism, a religion of sorts where you become God and you become the center of your own universe and the arbiter of all things ethical and moral. Now, even Nietzsche, a renowned atheist, knew this to be a problem. Originally found in the Gay Science and then later on, and Thus Spake Zarathustra, Nietzsche details the death of God following the Enlightenment and asks, now that God is dead and has bled under our knives, we've killed him, who will wipe his blood from our hands? Now, many people think Nietzsche just meant this as some like bold declaration of freedom from religion and freedom from the oppression of the Catholic Church and a triumph over the divine. But rather, he meant it as a stark realization of the new world the Enlightenment has created. And perhaps even accidentally, he meant it as a warning that God used to be the one who could wash the blood from our guilty hands. And now that he's dead, there's no one left to clean our hands. Well, that is maybe except ourselves. So now we have the job. So Nietzsche's bold and soul-crushing statement leaves us with the shocking reality that if God is dead, then we are the only ones left to take his place. Now here's the real question. Do you fit? If God is not on the throne, something must take his place. And if that person is you, do you fit well in that throne? And only the most extreme narcissist would jump at the opportunity to replace God.
You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.